Hi everybody. So this is the first video of a series of tutorial videos for MeshMatch plugin and system. So I will cover all the features one by one. But for now, in this first tutorial, I will describe the UI and show you how to set up a new mesh match from scratch. So this is why I have this scene with two meshes, and we will just try to perform the registration of this mesh on this one. So in all the videos I will always refer as reference mesh, which is the mesh we want to match to, and the target mesh is mesh we want to deform in order to have this shape. So in the instruction file you can see the command to add to open the UI. So I have just made a shelf button. You can see it's just these two lines. So let's open the window. So for now it's empty, and you can see it's written no match node found in the scene, and you just have this plus button to add a new system. And we can just quickly have a look at these bottom buttons. So the first one, if you click on the first one, it will open Google form to fill and add suggestion or report a bug, all relevant information to the bug. The second button is to open the help file, and it will point to the dedicated website. The third button is to open the tutorial videos, so this one will be included there. And the last button is to open one of the example scenes I have provided with along with the package. So we will open these files later, but for now I just show how to create a new match for yourself. So I will just select the reference mesh and then the target mesh and click on the plus button. Proceed. So successful. Okay, let's just collapse all the sections. So I will review all the sections one by one, but in this first video I will cover the first three sections and show the UI mainly. So this button is to add a new one, and you can see now the menu is filled, and if you add several systems in the same scene, they will all be listed here. I usually don't make several systems in the same scene. I just make one scene for each, but you can do it. The second button will allow to add a retargeting system. So once this mesh will have the shape of this one, we will be able to add what I call a reference deform mesh. So the same mesh as this one, but with deformations, for example, blendShapes. And then the retargeting will add the deformation on this one, on the target shape at its initial state. This button is for deleting the whole current system. This one is for refreshing the UI. So there are plenty of callbacks in the UI, so usually you don't have to click on it, but if sometimes you feel like the state is not accurate, just click on it. And this one is to open a side view, and this side view will be useful to pick landmarks to help for the registration. But the MeshMatch is designed to use as few as possible landmarks. So usually you don't, well, in many cases you don't need to add landmarks at all. And for these two meshes, we will be able to perform the match without landmarks. So these buttons are for changing views. You can link or unlink both views. This is for component mode and object mode. But we will see that in another video. So the first section is information about the current meshes. So you just can see that the reference mesh is this one, and target is this one, and the result which has been created here is this one, and you can just pick them here. This is some useful data that has been computed in the node. So the node has a symmetry check system, so when both meshes are symmetrical, like here in this case, the compute will be performed mostly from most steps only on the positive side of each mesh. So this reduces the compute time by half, and we can see that we have some attributes for the mirroring here. So now we just can see that the reference mesh is symmetrical, and its amount of points. Target mesh is also symmetrical, and they don't have the same topology. So MeshMatch, it's designed to register two different topologies, but you can also use all the retargeting features between meshes that have the same topology. And in that case, when both meshes have the same topology, all these sections for the registration will be just hidden, and you will just have access to the other feature. So in the global attributes section, you have just two attributes, which are the envelope. So this is the envelope for the deformer, and a checkbox for transferring the UVs. So once this one will be matched on this one, we will be able to transfer the reference mesh back on the target mesh. So for the mirroring, you can just leave it as it. Mirror axis is usually X in Maya, and mirror precision is if you have two meshes that should be symmetrical and they are not reported as symmetrical here, you can try to increase precision here, but just be aware that when you modify any of these attributes, all the next steps computing will be performed again, so you just might set all the iterations to 0 before changing anything here. Usually you don't have to touch anything here. So we will just have a look at the initial alignment for now, and then I will make other videos for all the next steps, and we will review all the steps one by one. We can just have a look at the node editor to see what has been created. So it's quite simple. MeshMatch is based on a deformer plugin, so everything is computed within that node, and the UI wraps controls all the attributes of the nodes and adds some other nodes if necessary, and just perform all the connections. So here we can see that we have the reference mesh and the target mesh that are plugged in the mesh inputs, and we have the world matrix of the target mesh because we need it for the matrix interpolation step, and then the output just goes into the matched mesh. There are two nodes for UV transfer, so there is no need to check the transfer UVs before the registration is set up, and actually you just check it when all the job is done, because this Maya node is quite slow, the spatial transfer, so just disable transfer UV when you don't need it. So initial alignment is, like said here, is a very rough alignment. So currently it's already, you can see that this mesh has been deformed already. And so there are two options. If you check align centroid, both centroids will be aligned. So sometimes it's useful and sometimes it's not. Like here, I feel like unchecking it is better. So I will uncheck it, and then align bounding box will stretch. It will take this bounding box and from the center of the bounding box will stretch in all directions, so this bounding box matches this one. So if I drag the slider, you can see that it stretches in all directions. So I will just put it here, and then we will be able to proceed to the next steps, so which are adding pin pairs. What I call pin pairs is actually landmarks, but pin pairs are not only landmarks, it's a whole deformer system, and so you can add corresponding points between the meshes, but you can also weight the influence and visualize it with colors, and you can layer the deformations like you would do with layered skin clusters. So we will be able to add, for example, first landmarks for the nose with a wide influence and one for the tail, and then if we want to precisely put the ears together, we can add layers. We will see that next time. The main registrations is all the attributes for the performing the match between both. Post registration is for once the main alignment is done, you can have a perfect match. Like it's a bit like a shrink wrap, but it's more evolved, and so the both meshes are perfectly aligned. Then we will have the retargeting section, and I can't click on it now because I haven't specified a deformed mesh is input yet. And then the matrix interpolation will allow us to, for example, if this reference mesh add a whole rig inside, like skin joints or controllers, we will be able to put them in the space of the target. Okay, so see you for next video.